Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. My name is Laura Cantu. Super excited to have you back. We are live on TikTok. We are live on Instagram. And today we are talking about the differences between AP classes and IB classes because right now we are in the middle of those exams. Those exams are happening right now. The AP exams are happening right now. The IB exams are happening right now. So we are doing that. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if the audio is working correctly. We were having some technical difficulties, but it seems like it's working. My name, of course, if in case you forgot, is Laura Cantu. We are super excited to have you here today. We are doing a four-way stream. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook and on YouTube. And as I said, today we are talking about the differences, the main differences between AP and IB courses. Today, I will be explaining why these classes are important, why some colleges require, not some colleges, some high schools have AP courses or offer AP courses rather than IB courses, and why some high schools offer these instead of the others. Because not every high school in the United States and or outside the United States offers AP classes. Some high schools actually have IB programs, which we'll be talking about today. And these are basically college level courses offered by high schools, and it gives the students the opportunity to gain college credits and to be able to learn college level content that can help them better prepare for college and get the opportunity to receive college credits, which I will get into all of that soon. I just want to give people a chance to say hi, to start getting into the presentation. And we have a question right here from last live. Start joining us today and start telling us where you guys are watching us from. I see a lot of people are watching us on Instagram. We have some people on TikTok. So definitely, if you want to see the full presentation, I suggest you follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel, because you will be able to see a slideshow presentation if you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And, you can also stay up to date with all of the content that we upload to YouTube. We actually just uploaded a video where we did a campus tour of the University of Central Florida. We talked about what you can do to get accepted. And we actually had my best friend, Renee, who is a UCF alumni, talk about her personal experience at UCF. So if you want to watch that video, subscribe to our channel. Whoever's watching us on Instagram, and you will be able to watch this free and this amazing campus tour that my friend Renee helped me put together. And if you see me looking around, we're doing this four-way stream. We're testing it out. It's not set in stone. If we see that it is too much, or I don't know, if it's too much looking around, we might change it. We're still testing it out. We're testing out the waters. And yeah, so let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you are a high school student or a parent of a high school student. Let me know where you're watching us from today. I see that we have Vidal in the chat. It's all the way over here. We got to fix that. We have Vidal in the chat. We have David in the chat as well, letting us know. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delay. Please let us know where you are joining from. Yes, please let us know where you're joining from, guys. And we have Lilia saying hi. Let us know where you're joining from and, what grade are you in. And if you are trying to subscribe to our channel and you're watching this on Instagram, all you have to do is look us up, Best College Aid USA. You will be able to find us, and we are going to be live preparing this presentation, which, by the way, today we are talking about the differences between AP and IB courses. We'll talk about these. We will, I will be explaining the differences. I will be kind of like describing them separately and then just talking about them. I see that we have Catalina saying, greetings from Mexico. Hi, we're from Mexico as well. So thank you so much, Catalina, for joining us today. And what part of Mexico are you from? We are from Monterrey, and we moved here when I was 13 years old. So definitely welcome to a fellow Mexican. And thank you so much for joining us today. Alrighty. So today we are talking about the differences between AP and IB courses. I will be, trying to give you as much information as you can and trying to share a lot of helpful and valuable tips that can help your student. All right. So before we get to that point, before we get to the part of the presentation where I talk about the differences, I want to remind you that we are still in our AP and what's the other one? IB, the one that we're talking about today. Students are still testing, right? They are still taking this exam. This is week number 2 for AP exams and also for IB exams. So if your student is taking these exams, today at 8 a.m. local time was when students took calculus AB and calculus BC, and then at noon, students who took the computer science tests and Italian classes were testing. And then also for our students who take IB classes, there were some courses, some tests being administered today. So good luck to any students, or if you're a parent, good luck if you're a student, good luck to you. If you have a student who is taking these exams, good luck to your student. Definitely, it can be nerve-wracking. It can be tough sometimes because AP classes, IB courses, these are college level courses, and some students get nervous, some students get overwhelmed. So definitely, I know this time of the year, I was in high school once, and we have students who are currently going through this process. Trust me, I know it can be stressful, but it will be over. It's just 2 weeks of testing, 3 for IB exams, and it's just once a year, right? This test happens once a year, and it can determine whether or not the students for the AP exams, if the students will receive that college credit or have the opportunity to receive college credits, because I will explain how that works in just a second. But good luck to any students. I see that here on Instagram, Juliet is saying, thank you, this is great. My son is a freshman, but I need to start understanding the prices. Yes, it's good that you have a son that's a freshman in high school and that you're here joining us today. We always tell students, we always tell parents that the earlier students and parents start preparing for college, the better. There's a lot of things that, of course, happen during the student's senior year. A lot of college planning processes, I guess, that happen during the student's senior year. But there are a bunch of things that have to start moving, a lot of things that parents should start understanding way before, and a lot of things students can start doing way before, like taking extracurriculars, preparing for standardized tests, etc. So definitely you're in the right place, Juliet, and thank you so much for joining. Are the tests for seniors only the AP exams or the IB exams? No, these exams are for any high school student, and AP exams, students can start taking these classes, AP courses, and take the AP exam at any point since 9th grade. And for IB classes as well, there is not only for seniors. I will talk about it in just a second. Actually, it is 3:20, so why don't we go ahead and start talking or start breaking this information down? But no, to answer your question, AP classes can be, and IB exams are not only for seniors, right? These courses can be taken since freshman year of high school. Alrighty, muy bien. I'm switching to Spanish, my bad. All right, so let's pull up this slide number 2. What is an AP class? Let's start with AP classes, and then we'll move on to IB courses. What is an AP class? An AP class is a college level course that is offered by certain high schools, right? Not every high school in America offers AP classes. Some high schools do IB programs, and some high schools have A's. So an AP class it's just classes, college level classes that are offered by a lot of high schools in the United States. There is, for every AP class taken, there will be an end of the year exam offered to students. And this exam is usually, or, mostly every year takes place in May. These exams always take place in the middle of May. Sometimes it's in the beginning. This year was in the first week of May. It started last week. I remember last year, these exams took in the middle of the month. But it is 2 weeks of testing, and it happens in the month of May. And these AP exams for AP courses, these are graded. They are scored on a scale of 1 to 5, right? So 1 is not passing, 2 is not passing, 3 is passing, 3, 4, and 5 are passing scores. Now, I do want to clarify something that a lot of people don't have very clear. Just because a student gets just because they get a 3 on a specific AP exam, doesn't mean that a college is going to take this exam and allow them to receive college credits for this. Every college in the United States is going to take these results from AP exams differently. At one school, this is just an example. It's just going to be an example. Maybe at the University of Texas, Austin, a 4 on AP Calculus 1 AB is going to be, they're going to accept that, but maybe at Stanford, they're only going to accept a 5. Or maybe at Harvard, they will only accept a 5, but at Yale, they will accept a 4 on biology, right? So every college will have different standards for the different AP scores that they will receive. So just because a student passes an AP class doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be accepting those courses, and they're going to let the student basically come in with those college credits. So keep that in mind. That's why it's important to know these things ahead of time. If you're a student watching this, or if you have a child that is taking AP classes and they happen to know exactly, the schools that they're going to be applying to, have them look up, what classes, what test scores do they need to submit them as college credits, right? To send the scores in and have the school accept them for college credits, so that they know, okay, this is a harder class because I'm going to have to get a 5 on this exam. Or this is an easier class because I only need a 3, etc. So keep that in mind. Not every college is going to take a 3. And that doesn't mean that no colleges are taking a 3, because some colleges will. So it depends on the school. It also depends on the major, right? Or the program that the student is applying to. Because maybe if a student wants to major in a specific subject like biology and they took the AP Bio class, the student is majoring in that, they need to get a specific score. That's also something else that could happen. Whereas a student who's majoring in something else, who's only submitting that class for credit, they might take it. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So it's important to know all these things ahead of time. And I just wanted to clarify that. So just to recap, to kind of understand what an AP class is. An AP class is a college level course that is offered by certain high schools in the United States. There is an end of the year exam that takes place in the month of May. And these classes, these tests are scored on a 1 through 5 scale. Alrighty, highest score you can get on an AP exam is a 5. Alrighty, hopefully that made some sense. Now, let's move on to what is an IB class. An IB class is another college level course that is offered by certain high schools inside of the United States and outside of the United States. There's colleges outside of the United States. Actually, let me just change this slide on Instagram so my Instagram peeps can see this. All right, there you go. So there are colleges in the United States, high schools inside of the United States, like I said earlier, that use the IB program, International Baccalaureate Program, rather than the Advanced Placement Program. And there are also international high schools that are outside of the United States that use, these type of tests, these type of courses. So basically, it's the same as it in the sense that AP classes and IB classes can give a student the chance of earning college credits at certain schools. And these are obviously a little bit more challenging classes than your regular classes that a high school might offer, than your honors classes. What an IB class, how it's a little different than from an AP class, is that an IB class will give students the chance of graduating with an IB diploma. So with AP classes, it's kind of more, it works more separately. You can take one class your freshman year, your student can take 2 classes sophomore year and not take an AP class again until their senior year. And they don't get a diploma. They just get a passing score and they can send those scores to colleges. But with IB classes, students have the chance of graduating with an IB diploma, which basically states that they took and they passed these college level courses that high school offered. Now, these also have an end of the year exam, similar to the AP exam. And instead of it being 2 weeks, IB classes for the IB tests for these courses, it's 3 weeks. And it also takes place in May, as I said earlier. Right now it's week 2 for these exams. So some students are testing this week. There are students who are taking tests this week, who will be taking tests tomorrow, who took tests last week for both AP and IB exams. So definitely good luck. Again, if you just joined and you didn't get to see that, if you have students that are taking these exams right now, good luck to them. But another difference between an IB class is these are scored on a 1 to 7 scale, whereas AP classes are scored on a 1 to 5, right? So that is what an IB class is, an IB course is. And those are the differences. Now, the similarities are kind of similar between an AP class or an IB class. Students will still have the opportunity to save money if they take these college level courses, whether it is an AP exam, AP course, or an IB course. If students pass these courses and get the necessary requirements that a school requires, they have the chances of saving money for college. So let's say this is an example from Marist College. This is what my brother and David and I did, because we both took AP Spanish, because this is kind of like a trick, actually. If you're a Spanish speaker, or if you speak French, or I think Chinese and Italian, I believe, there are language classes, right? And if you are a native speaker, definitely take those AP classes, because there is a very, very high chance that you will be passing these exams. And if you are a native speaker, then you will probably pass these exams with a pretty high score, high enough to allow a college to offer you college credits, which is exactly what my brother and I did. We all took both AP classes, AP courses offered by our high schools, or the 2 AP courses available for Spanish. It's a Spanish language and Spanish literature. Anyway, we took these exams, we got a passing score in both of them, and we were awarded college credits, which will help us save $4,380, because each course, had weighted differently. But we had a chance to save up that much money, because when we got to college, when we sent in those scores and they were accepted, we came in with these credits, right? So we didn't have to take those classes when we were in college, because it counted as a common core class. Usually colleges, for every major, there's going to be the required courses besides the ones that are required for your major. There's going to be those core classes that students are going to have to take, such as literature, taking 1 math class, 2 math classes, maybe taking a language class. And, that's what we did. We used those credits and they counted towards our core classes. So we didn't have to take those classes. For another example that I do want to share with you guys, was my brother Francisco. And I talked about this last week, but if you didn't get to see this, last week. My brother Francisco, he went to the University of North Carolina. He was accepted there. And when he was in high school, he took a bunch of college level classes, AP classes, and he actually passed most of them. I believe he took more than 7 classes. I think it was 10. But he passed most of them, and he was able to go to the University of North Carolina with so many college credits that by the time that he got to UNC, he was technically a sophomore. He was a sophomore because he passed so many of his classes. So technically, with all the college credits that he gained from UNC, he was a sophomore. So if he wanted to, he would have graduated. He could have graduated in 3 years instead of doing 4 years, and that would have saved him a whole year's worth of tuition. I can't speak right now, but it would have saved a whole year's worth of tuition, which is incredible. I believe that's around $40,000. But instead of doing that, instead of graduating early, since he had all those credits, Francisco decided to do a double major, to major in 2 different careers. He received 2 diplomas, a diploma from 2 majors, because he had so many credits that he had the time to do 2 majors in 4 years. There are people who want to add a second major, and they either have to add a summer, to stay in for an extra summer course, or a half a semester, or another semester, pay for another semester, pay for a summer, semester in order to do 2 majors. So Francisco was able to do this in just 4 years of college. He graduated with 2 majors and 1 minor. So, this helped him do this. And obviously when he was applying to jobs and doing all these things, he looked more attractive to companies, because he had 2 majors under his belt and a minor as well. So, there are many benefits of taking AP classes, taking IB courses, having the chance of earning college credits, because it's not only, I'm going to save up if I receive these credits and I can graduate early, but also, I can do all these other things. Since I have so many credits, maybe one semester I'll go study abroad and just take art classes, and enjoy a semester, or graduate early and graduate a semester early and do an internship. There are so many options. The possibilities are endless. So definitely take college level courses, find out which courses are best for you, best for your student, and encourage them to take these classes, because as I said throughout this presentation, there are many, many benefits from taking these exams and passing them. Alrighty, let's see. What do we have next? So a lot of people, this was just kind of like an overview, but if inside of Best College Aid, we have lessons where we talk about differences between AP and IB classes. We talk about this more in depth, the benefits, which colleges offer it, which one's best. So definitely that's something that we offer inside of Best College Aid. So if you're watching this as a member of Best College Aid, which I know Xiao is a member and we have a couple of members watching, you can watch this lesson. Since you're a member, you have this benefit, this tutorial, and learn, all of this more in depth. Now, if you would like to learn more tips on college planning, we have put together a new training, we heard all your questions, we listened to what you had to say, and we put together a free training. And I'm going to put it on the screen just now. A free training. Oh, this is in Spanish. 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me find it because... All right, there you go. Yeah, we put a free training, which is linked to this video's description. It's called 6 Tips to Help Your Students Get Accepted to College with Scholarships. If you want to watch this free training where we answered a lot of college planning questions, where we offer a lot of, college planning tips, we offer the 6 strategies that can help your children graduate from high school and go into college, and go to college with scholarships. Feel free to register for this free training. It's filled with information. If you are watching us on Instagram, like Juliet, Joy, Jaja, and Tatiana, if you want to watch this free training, Juliet, go to the link in our bio. It's linked underneath, like in that link that's in Best College Aid USA's bio. You can find this free training there. Register and learn these 6 strategies. It's a free training. You don't have to pay anything to watch it, and you will actually be leaving with a lot of valuable information that can help you and your daughter or your son. I remember, but you said that you have a student in freshman year. This will help your student, and it will help you a lot. And you can just, once you register, all you have to do is choose which time works best for you, and you can watch this free training. Now, and at the end of this training, for those of you who were interested in joining Best College Aid, we do have a special discount at the end, and we explain what Best College Aid is at the end of this training after we share with you all those amazing tips. So if you want to learn also how you can join Best College Aid, what are some benefits, stay till the end of that training because you will learn what we offer inside Best College Aid. But if you only want to learn 6 strategies to help your child or help yourself get accepted and go to college with scholarships, you should register and watch this free training. Alrighty? Okay, so don't forget, if you want to watch this free training, the link is underneath this video's description. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, underneath the video's description. If you're watching us on Instagram, the link to this training is in our bio, link in bio. Alrighty, now let's answer some of your questions. I see that we do have questions, so let me just pull them up. I see that, why is that double? Okay, there you go. I see we have a question from Jack Steinmeier. If I say your last name incorrectly, I apologize. But Jack is asking, which test is easier, the ACT or the SAT? All right, so this is a great question, and we do get this question a lot. We got this question a couple of weeks ago. So let me explain which one's easier. The answer to that question is neither. It depends. It depends on the student. There are students who find the SAT easier. There are students who find the ACT easier. It all depends on where your strengths and weaknesses lie. There are students who are better at, reading and comprehension. There are students who, find having a science section like the one that is located inside the ACT exam, they find that as an advantage rather than it being a disadvantage. There are students who hear science section and they freeze and they rather take the SAT. So it depends on the student, right? As I said, the ACT exam has a whole science section inside of it, and students sometimes get scared from this section because they say, I'm not good in science. But to be honest, the science section is not really in-depth biology or physics, it's more critical thinking based, but there are some students who thrive. As a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I actually was a little worried because I wasn't that great in science. I took the ACT and the SAT, and I realized actually, the ACT is better for me. For some reason, I was able to understand and perform better in this exam, even in the science section. So it depends on the student. Jack, the best tip that I can give you in order to find which test is best for you, which test is easier for you, is to take practice exams to figure out, all right, once I took these 2 practice exams, I felt more comfortable taking this one over the other one. So I'm going to dedicate my entire energy to study for this one exam rather than the other one. That is the biggest piece of advice that I can give you. And actually, the piece of advice that we give to our students inside of Best College Aid. Find which test, and this is done by trial and error, taking mock tests, which you can find online. Figure out, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this mock exam and this one. Dedicate maybe a weekend or 1 weekend one, and then the next weekend I'll practice the other one and see which one you felt more comfortable with, which one you perform better in, and stick to that one. All right? So hopefully that answered your question, Jack. And if you have any more questions, please let us know. I also invite you to our free training. Again, link to this video description, and you can understand a little bit more of the college planning process. All right, so now we have a question from Greg Johnson. All right, let me just take a sip of my coffee, even though it's 3:41 and I shouldn't be drinking coffee, so don't tell anybody. I'm not going to be able to sleep, but it's okay. I'm kidding. Actually, coffee doesn't make me, lose my sleep. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. All right, so Greg Johnson is asking, which clubs look better on a college application? I'm a freshman and I don't know what to join. All right, I'm assuming you're a freshman in high school. And this is a good question, Greg. It depends. It's, again, similar to the SAT or ACT question. A club, there are some clubs that are a bit more impressive, or not impressive, but more prestigious for high school students, such as the National Honor Society, right? The National English Honor Society. We also have I'm blanking, NSHSS, which is also a more prestigious club that students have to get invited to. The requirements are actually for NHS, at least for what I've seen with some of my students who are in high school who have gotten invited. They're not crazy hard to get in. Of course, you gotta have a decent GPA and practice extracurriculars, or depending on the school, have a certain number of community service hours, etc. But my point is that yes, these are more prestigious, these clubs, but it doesn't mean that they're impossible to get into. But which club is better on a college application, or which extracurricular, Greg? It depends on what you're passionate about. Colleges will kind of look at an application, at a student's application, and they will look for something that the student loves, right? So if you have been practicing, and since you're a freshman in high school, if a college sees that you did, I don't know, say theater. Maybe you're a theater kid. I was a theater kid. But let's say that you did theater since freshman year of high school and you really enjoyed it. You stuck with it. And then your junior year of high school, you decided to run for board, to run for vice president. And by senior year, you were the president of the theater club at your high school. A college is going to look at that, and they're going to be more impressed with that than if you join the National Honor Society your junior year and maybe dropped out senior year, or you were just a member rather than having a leadership position. Do you understand what I'm saying? And maybe, of course, if you did theater and you're a theater student, and if you were also part of the school plays, that all in that together, colleges are going to say, okay, this student obviously really liked theater. They were on the club, they were on the board, they were part of the club's productions, etc. So what I'm trying to say is colleges, it's more about quality over quantity, and it's not that one club is better than the other. Is what is the student doing? What are they passionate about? Are they being active within that extracurricular, within that club? Let's say that you are a student who wants to major in biology because they want to go to med school. Colleges are going to expect, or they would like to see, that you not only took AP biology, a dual enrollment course on biology, or, some pre-med class, not pre-med because it's high school, but maybe honors bio, maybe taking chemistry courses. But in terms of clubs, they're going to want to see that you were part of the biology club in your school. Maybe that you did some volunteer hours at your local hospital, or that you volunteered at a doctor's office, that you raised money for medical research or whatever. I hope you get the example. It's about doing what you're passionate about and showing colleges, being able to show colleges that you're doing what you like and that you're being active within that activity. Alrighty, so hopefully that answered your question. It's a loaded question. Which club is better? Because it doesn't, count. Like, not that it doesn't count, but if you're just joining a club for the sake of joining a club, and if you don't like it, you might not stick with it. Right? Because you're going to say, oh, I don't like X club, whatever club. I have to go to a meeting. And then little by little, you're just going to be forgetting to go to meetings. Hopefully not. But I've seen it all the time where students say here, oh, SGA is a great club or a great organization, and it looks great on college applications. But then students join it and they don't like it. They don't like organizing stuff for the class, or they are not necessarily passionate about what the responsibilities are, so they dropped out, and then maybe it's junior year and it's too late to join other clubs, or it's students get a little, not lazy, but they think it's too late and they don't actually join another club. So definitely my biggest tip when it comes to clubs and extracurriculars and organizations is find what you're passionate about and stick with it. All right, Greg, great question. We have another question, and then we're going to answer Catalina's question. Rebecca Jones is asking, what does rolling admissions mean? All right, great question. We actually did a few, not series, but, live streams. We did rolling admissions, regular admissions, early action, early decision. There were a couple of weeks where we talked about each type of application. But let me explain what rolling admissions is, because it is a type of application. So what is rolling admission? What does it mean? It is a type of application that some colleges use. Not all colleges in America use rolling admissions. As a matter of fact, it's not one of the most common types of college admissions processes. Rolling admissions is actually, I wouldn't say the least common, but most colleges will do regular admissions, regular decision. They will do early action or early decision. But rolling admissions is basically, the name says it all. It's a type of college admissions application deadline that it's rolling. So colleges that do rolling admissions, they don't have a deadline per se, such as the regular admission colleges that have, a January 15th deadline, or a February 15th deadline, or an early action college, or colleges that have early action where that deadline is in October or November or December. So with rolling admissions is some colleges, and there are differences within the rolling admissions. Why is this here? The rolling admissions applications, and some colleges do it a bit differently than others. But for example, some colleges will do, so they will accept school students kind of in a rolling basis, and they will stop accepting students either once a class has been filled out, they will close applications and they will not really allow students to keep applying, or they will not look at any more applications, and that can be at any point. Some colleges do have like a priority deadline where, by that rolling admissions, if they submit their application by that priority deadline, they will offer scholarships, or they will offer more financial aid than those students who wait after that priority deadline. So there are a bunch of stipulations, and we go over this in depth in Best College Aid. We actually have a lesson where we explain which type of college application students should use in order to maximize their odds of being accepted, how to use, rolling admissions, regular decision, early action, and did I say rolling admissions already? But how to use all these types of application to their advantage in order to maximize their odds of getting accepted. Because believe it or not, there are ways to figure out, should I wait to apply regular decision, or should I actually apply early action to a school? Or should I not apply early action and wait until I apply regular decision to maximize the odds of getting accepted? Because trust me, there are ways to do this to maximize your odds of getting accepted. All right, so before, I want to answer some questions on Instagram, but I will get to your question, Catalina. I see that Mr. Priyansh is saying hi. Hi, Priyansh. I see that, what are for those, Juliet NYC says, what's those tests? I'm assuming you refer to the SAT and ACT. These are standardized tests that a lot of colleges require from students to take in order to, when they're applying to colleges, they will require students to send the scores to these tests, and they will use these test scores results to kind of determine a decision, an admissions decision. So the higher the test score on an SAT or ACT, the higher the chances of getting accepted, right? But not all colleges require these exams, by the way, SAT or ACT. There are colleges who are test optional, colleges that are test optional, to our test blind, But there are colleges that are starting to require these tests again. Due to COVID, a lot of colleges were not requiring this exam because it was kind of hard to go into testing sites. But now that things are normal, a lot of colleges are starting to require it again. Actually, MIT is one of them. So if MIT is a school that you or student is interested in attending, then preparing for standardized test scores is a must, because it is something that they will look at in in their college applications. I saw a question earlier from someone else. Oh, okay. It's Prodigy Music. Hey, does my internship slash extracurricular have to be related to the major I want to pursue? All right, that's a great question. What I recommend to my students is, yes, if you can find an extracurricular, if you already know, by the way, first of all, if you already know what you want to study, if your student already knows this is what I want to study, then finding an extracurricular activity that is related to that major will be very beneficial, will be something, as I explained with the, clubs examples earlier. Colleges are going to appreciate if students practice an extracurricular activity that is related to what they want to major in. So let's say your student wants to do pre-med, the same example I gave earlier, but let's say they want to be a nurse. I actually volunteered at a hospital my 9th and 10th grade, freshman and sophomore year of high school. And, I didn't personally pursue nursing because I realized it wasn't for me. So doing that activity actually helped me realize that nursing was not for me. But a lot of my fellow volunteers who I volunteered with at that time, who I met, that I became friends with, they wanted to go into nursing. They wanted to go into medical school. And most of them right now, I have a friend who is a registered RN and she's working as a nurse. She graduated and she was doing that in high school. I have a friend who is in medical school, in med school right now, in his 3rd year, and he was doing that, was part of that volunteer program. So it definitely helped them realize, okay, this is something that I want to do, and it helped them get accepted, receive scholarships, and prepare for, the future. So yes, it's Prodigy Music. That's your username, so that's why I'm calling you that. I definitely think, and I definitely recommend finding an extracurricular that is related to what you want to pursue in your major. Okay, Catalina, you're asking us a question, so let's put it right here. Some universities in the U.S. give financial aid depending on the family's income. Can Latin Americans get the same financial aid as if they were from the United States? All right, that's a great question, and we do get that question a lot. We do have some members inside of Best College Aid who are either not citizens, who are international students, who are residents. So we do have experience with this. And I see that David, who is in the chat, responded to you. So let's read his question, but then I will elaborate to his answer. So he said, "Hi, Catalina. Although international students do not qualify for federal financial aid, there are still other scholarship opportunities." So I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's put Catalina's question up on the screen. Yes. So what David said is really, very true. International students, so students who do not have are not U.S. citizens or don't have a social security number will qualify as international students. So, unless they are not eligible non-citizen, they can qualify. They will not be able to qualify for federal aid. But this does not mean that they cannot find colleges that will actually award scholarships or award merit-based scholarships from colleges, or there are not, private programs, so private scholarship programs that could offer that student scholarships. It's all about finding the right colleges that will offer that type of financial aid. It's all about finding the, scholarship programs that can, support or that can award scholarships for international students. It is true that colleges in the United States are a bit more expensive than in other countries. And Catalina, you said that you're from Mexico, so Definitely more expensive. College can be more expensive in the US, but this does not mean that you cannot go to college with a scholarship, even if you're an international student. There's actually colleges that highly award or that give the same amount of financial aid, the same amount of institutional aid to international students as they do to citizens, as U.S. students. So definitely, even though it can be a little harder or it's not as common, not as common, but because of the international students will not be receiving federal aid, it doesn't mean that there are no options. So Catalina, if you want to learn more, I definitely invite you to watch our free training where we talk about the 6 secrets I put it again, the 6 secrets to go to college with scholarships. Let me share my screen with you. Oh my goodness. I am sorry. We had some sort of technical difficulty earlier today where all my slides got, shoveled and put in different places. So I am a little lost today. There you go. So our free training, 6 tips to help your students get accepted to college with scholarships. We also have this training in Spanish. Carolina, I know that you mentioned that you're from Mexico. So if you want to watch this training in Spanish, we can share that with you. And you can watch this free webinar in Spanish so that you can learn these secrets and prepare for the college admissions process. All right. It looks like it is 3:57, so it's time to go. But if you want to keep learning more tips, if you're watching this on Instagram, TikTok, and you want to learn the 6 strategies to help your student go to college with scholarships, I definitely invite you to our free training. The link is in my bio. This free training is super, super helpful. It has helped thousands of families, and it will help your family a lot. It will give you a lot of insight on the college admissions process. You can find this in the link in our bio. If you're watching us on TikTok and Instagram, you can find this free training there. If you're watching us on YouTube, the free training, the link to this training is underneath this video's description. So go check that out. Once again, my name is Laura Cantu. I will be back again next week with another live stream. We are live every week at 3 p.m. Mondays at 3 p.m. So definitely join. We are also live in our Spanish channel every Monday at 1 p.m. So definitely stay tuned for our next week's live stream. And I hope you have an amazing time, an amazing week, because it is Monday. So I hope that you have an amazing week and that I see you again very, very soon. Again, if you have any questions after this live stream is over, I invite you to comment them in the comment section below and ask any questions. If you have any suggestion for YouTube videos that you would like to see, let us know in the comment section. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you again next Monday.